All right, boys, so now we're just going to do some more on finding sides. So if you look at this triangle here, we're going to label the sides that we do have. This one is the opposite side. This one is the hypotenuse, opposite the right angle. And now we're going to use, with opposite and hypotenuse, we'll be using the sine ratio. So when you sub into it, we're putting the angle always after sine, cos or tan. So it's sine 43 degrees 40 minutes equals opposite over hypotenuse 14.85 over r. Now, once you get to that point, when you have a letter on the bottom, in other words, we have a letter on the bottom of the denominator, it's on the denominator, then we do what I say, do the swap. Okay, so what that means is we're going to take that and swap it with that. It's actually doing two steps in one. We could do it by getting rid of the fraction altogether and then getting the r by itself, but this does the whole thing in one step. So whenever you see a letter on the bottom of a fraction, you're going to swap it with whatever's sitting over in this position here. Okay, you'll only have to have one term in that spot to be able to do this, but that is one term. Okay, so they swap spots, so that means the r will be over here, the sine 43 degrees 40 minutes will be down here, and now we're going to use our calculator. So, when you use your calculator for this one, what I think you should be doing is setting up a fraction, and then we're going to put in what it said over there, which is 14.85 on the top, then down arrow to the bottom, and then we're going to put in sine 43 degrees 40 minutes, sine 43 degrees 40 minutes, and then press equals. With that one you've got to actually close the bracket off on this. Otherwise you will get what we just got then, a syntax error, so we'll start again. Start up your fraction, 14.85 on the top, down arrow, sine 43 degrees 40 minutes. Now, you do have to close that bracket off at the end there. So we'll close off the bracket, should look like that, press equals, and then you'll get your answer. So it's 21.50734825, rounded off to one decimal place, it's 21.5 metres. Okay, now this one here, where they're describing the diagram to you, so we're going to draw it. So it's a triangle KLW, angle L equals 90 degrees, so it is a right angled triangle. So draw one up, there's your right angle, we're going to put L there for 90 degrees, that is a right angle. Then the other two letters, the K and the W, it doesn't matter where you put them wherever. Okay, now we can do the rest of it. KL is 12 metres. Angle W down here is 75.2 degrees. And we're finding KW, which is this one here. We'll just put an X there. And now we're going to label the sides. So this side here is opposite the angle, and this side here is the hypotenuse. So O and H, we're using sine. So sine theta equals O over H. Put your angle in here. Sine 75.2 degrees equals 12 over X for opposite over hypotenuse. Now again, you've got the letter on the bottom. So we're going to swap, and you know what that means now. So we're going to swap it with this thing over here. So they swap spots. We've got X over here now and sine 75.2 degrees on the bottom. So we're going to put that in the calculator. So again, doing what we did a minute ago. So we're going to set up a fraction. We're going to put 12 on the top. Then we're going to down arrow, and this time we're putting sine 75.2. The calculator knows that whatever you put after sine, cos or tan, the calculator knows it's in degrees because we have D on the top of the screen there. So don't forget we have to close off the bracket when we're in a fraction. Then press equals and you'll get your answer. Okay, so there it is, rounded off to 1 decimal place. Okay, moving over here to the next one. So we're going to label our sides first. So this is our opposite side and this is our adjacent side. So we're using tan. So tan theta equals O over A. Put your angle in here. Tan 57 degrees equals 137 over N. There's your letter on the bottom. So we are swapping. You're swapping with this thing here. N's now here, tan 57 degrees is down on the bottom of the fraction. Again, we're putting it in the calculator. Press your fraction key first. 137 on the top, down arrow, tan 57 degrees on the bottom. Close your bracket off. Should look like that when you enter it. Press equals. That should give you that answer there. This time we're rounding off to 2 decimal places, and we've done that. 88.97 kilometres. Okay, next question, we're starting some word problems here, but they've already drawn the diagram here, so it makes it a little bit easier. All right, so what we've got here is this person is 187 centimetres tall. Okay, he is looking at a bird in the sky. Now, the angle that, it's actually the angle of elevation, we'll be talking about those later, but it's the angle that his eye or his head has to move through to focus on looking at the bird. Okay, so normally he's just looking straight ahead. He's focusing on the bird now. The angle that his eye or his head moves through is 62 degrees. Now, the question, it's telling you that the bird is 2,450 centimetres above the ground. And he's the man standing on the ground, 187 centimetres tall. We're finding how far the person has to walk to be directly under the birds. So, he's walking this direction and then he's going to get to here, then he'll be directly under the birds. Alright, so he's going to be moving to that spot there where he's directly under the bird. Alright, now, we need to find how far he walked. So this is what you're looking for. We'll just call it X. Now, if you're looking for that, it's actually this bit here. If you look at what we have as a right-angled triangle in this diagram, you need to find this bit here. To find that, you want that whole vertical distance and this vertical height, and you want to subtract those two. So we're going to do 2450 minus 187. That will give us 2263. And that's going in that spot on the triangle. So if we now label the sides, that is actually the opposite side of the triangle. This one down here is the adjacent side of the triangle. So we're using tan. So we start with our formula. Tan theta equals O over A. Put your angle in. Tan 62 degrees equals opposite. 2263 over adjacent, X. Again, letter on the bottom, do the swap. X equals 2263 over tan 62. And when you put it in the calculator the way I taught you, fraction key, put everything in, make sure it looks like that. Then press equals. And don't forget our rounding is to 1 decimal place here. So I'm going to come back in the next video and we'll do some more examples.